Hi, I'm Rebecca from engVid. In this lesson, I'll show you how to use the word should correctly and easily in English. Now, native speakers use the word should all the time. We use it to talk about the present, the past, and the future. And by the end of this lesson, you should be able to use it just as easily. Okay? So let's get started. So, first of all, should is what's called a modal verb. What does that mean? It's called a helping verb, okay? Modal verb just means a helping verb. And that means we cannot use the word should by itself. We have to use it as a helper with another verb. For example, we cannot say, I should today. I should what today? So we could say, I should study today. I should work today. I should sleep today. So you have to say I should something with a verb, okay? You cannot use it by itself. And that's why it's called a modal verb or a helping verb. You use it with something else. But besides that, it's actually very easy because it doesn't change in the way that regular verbs change, okay? And that's what I'll show you now. So let's look at some examples of how we use the word should. In the present tense, we could say, I should study today. In the future tense, look, we say, I should study tomorrow. There's hardly any difference. The difference was here, right? So this part is really easy. What's a little bit different is when we want to talk about the past. Then we say, I should have studied yesterday, okay? So we'll be focusing on this one more because as you can see, the present and the future are really easy for you to construct because you're just saying should with the verb, all right? Now, what does it mean when we use should? What does it actually mean? Well, we can use it for different reasons. We can use it to give advice. For example, you should stop smoking, okay? Or we can use it to express an obligation or something that somebody needs to do. For example, you should do your taxes. Or we can also use should to express an expectation, something that we think will happen. For example, okay, you're leaving now. You should arrive there in about half an hour. Okay? So we can use should in these different ways. Very often it's used in the first way to give advice. And when we say all of these things, when we use should for all of these reasons, we can use it to give advice to ourselves. For example, I should exercise more. We can use it to give advice to others. For example, they should invite her to the party. Or we can also use it to refer to things. Oh, I fixed your computer. It should work well now. Okay? So we can use it in all of these different ways. So now let's go to this one, which was how to use should to talk about things in the past. Why would you use should to talk about something in the past? Because you want to say that you wish that you had done something. And as we all know, we are always in this kind of situation where we have plans and then something didn't happen and we wish that we had done something. Okay? So then we use this form. I should have plus the verb. And the verb here is the past participle. Okay? So we say I should have plus the past participle of a regular verb or of an irregular verb. All right? I'm going to show you some examples so you understand exactly how to do that. Now, this is actually very, very useful because we don't just say things like I should have studied yesterday. In real life, we use this form to say these kind of really important sentences. For example, I should have called you on time. I'm sorry you got worried. I should have thanked you. I should have apologized. I'm sorry. Or I should have helped you. Okay? Can you see how useful this word should is? Okay, in real life? Or even if we use the negative form of should, which is shouldn't, we could say, I shouldn't have forgotten your birthday. I'm sorry. Did you have a good time? Or I shouldn't have shouted at you. I'm sorry. Or I shouldn't have hurt you. Sorry, I hurt your feelings. Okay? So you can see that this form of using should in the past is actually very, very useful. All right? Now, let's look at this chart so you understand exactly what's going on. So let's take the subject first. I, you, we, they, he, she. Okay, could be anything. So let's just take I. I should or I shouldn't. So first of all, we can use should in the positive form or the negative form. And then with that, we can use should with regular verbs like work or irregular verbs like go. All right? So let's try that one. I should work today, or I shouldn't go there tomorrow. Okay? That's pretty simple. Just using should plus the base form of the verb for the present and for the future. Now, what happens when we want to talk about the past? I told you already. We have to add a little bit more, but it's not hard because it doesn't change. It's always like this. So what it is I should have, okay? You have to say that, doesn't matter which subject you use. I should have, you should have, we should have, they should have, he should have, she should have. That part stays the same. Then if it's a regular verb, you're using the past participle form, which is the same as the past tense. So we're just usually adding ed or d. So I should have worked yesterday. Or with an irregular verb, you have to know what's that third form. So for example, with the verb go, we have go, went, gone. So we use that third form, which is called the past participle, with this. So we would say something like, I should have gone there yesterday. Or I shouldn't have gone there yesterday. Okay? Have you got that? So that's what we're going to practice now. We're going to do some exercises, and mainly we are focusing on this one, okay? To talk about the past. Because I think that the present, talking about the present and talking about the future is really easy when you're using should. But what's a little bit more confusing sometimes to students is this one. So we're going to practice this in just a second. Okay, so the way we're going to do this exercise is like this. You'll see here some check marks and some X's. So where you see the check mark, I want you to say, and say it out loud because it will help you. Say should have, and the X means it's negative, and there you can say shouldn't have. And what you will need to do along the way is to change the verb that goes after it, to put it into the past participle. And sometimes the verb is going to be a regular verb, and sometimes it's an irregular verb. When it's an irregular verb, how do you know how it changes? Well, you need to learn that by heart. There is usually in every grammar book a chart at the end which gives all the irregular verbs. And in fact, we have a resource on this on our website, which I've written actually quite a while ago, which has a lot of the irregular verbs in different categories to help you learn them in case you don't know them. But probably you've heard them, and that's another great way to learn. Okay? All right, so let's get started. I'll help you. Number 1, Jack blank do his homework. So we want to make it a positive sentence. So we're going to say Jack should have, what do we do to this verb? Not do, but Jack should have done his homework. Okay, sorry if I didn't mention it, but what we're doing here is we are changing all of these to the past, all right? Because that's the more challenging one, remember I told you? So that's what we're trying to do. Should have done. Number 2. I blank rehearse my speech. I should have rehearsed my speech. Okay? Rehearse is a regular verb. So, and it ends with E, so we only added a D. All right? The number 3. They blank spend so much. It's negative. They shouldn't have. What do we do to this verb? Not spend, but spent. They shouldn't have spent so much. Good. All right, number 4. We blank meet them at 6 o'clock. We should have, what happens here? We should have met them at 6 o'clock. All right, number 5. She blank arrived so late. Make it negative. She shouldn't have arrived so late. Okay, arrive is another regular verb. And it happens to also end in E, so we only added D. Next, I blank know better. People say this a lot. Let's hear the proper phrase. I should have, not know, but known better. I should have known better. In fact, many years ago, the famous rock band, the Beatles, had a song called I Should Have Known Better. And if you go to our Facebook page, I'll see if we can put a link to that in case you've never heard it. All right, I should have known better. What does that mean, I should have known better? It means I should have been smarter. I should have been more intelligent. Okay? That's what it means. All right. Number 7. He blank shout at them. Make it negative. He shouldn't have shouted at them. Shout is a regular verb, and we add ed. Number 8. We blank buy a cake. Positive. So we should have, not buy a cake, we should have bought a cake. Okay? We should have bought a cake. Number 9. I blank take so long. Make it negative. I shouldn't have taken so long. Okay? This was an irregular verb. Take, took, taken. I shouldn't have taken so long. Number 10. You blank say anything. You shouldn't have, not say, but you shouldn't have said anything. Okay, now I'm just going to very quickly read through the basic form here so that you get to hear it, okay? Finally, it becomes learning something. It's not only by studying the grammar. Of course, it starts with that, or sometimes that happens along the way, but also by training your ears and paying attention to what you read, what you see, what you hear, okay? So let's just hear it now. Jack should have done. I should have rehearsed. They shouldn't have spent. We should have met. She shouldn't have arrived. I should have known. He shouldn't have shouted. We should have bought. I shouldn't have taken, and you shouldn't have said. Okay? I should have, you shouldn't have, or I shouldn't have. All right? So a really good way to practice this is to write some sentences of your own. Think of 3 things that you wish that you had done yesterday. Say, I should have gone to the gym, right? Or something like that. I should have stuck to my diet, or anything like that, okay? Try to write 3 sentences about yourself and what you should have done yesterday, the positive way, and maybe 2 or 3 things that you shouldn't have done, let's say in the past week or the past month. I know you don't make too many mistakes, but just in case, this expression is very handy. And now, to really master this, what you need to do is this. You should go to our website at www.engvid.com. There, you should do a quiz on this subject and look around at the hundreds of other lessons that we have. And you should definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can continue to improve your English. In fact, you should have subscribed long ago, but no worries. It's never too late. Do it now. All right? All the best with your English. Bye for now.